You pay 200,000 euros to enter the richest poker room on Earth and find Gandalf's long-lost cousin in seat 4. White beard and a linen jacket draped like robes. No headphones, no solver charts, just an amused half-smile, as if he already knows the river card. Meet Vladimir Alexandrovich Korzinin, age 69. Day job: inventor of deep-sea valves, solver of mechanical riddles, and, though no one here suspects it yet, future breaker of poker legends. For 40 years, Vladimir tinkered in Tallinn workshops, earning patent royalties that let him vanish into mathematics. Weekends found him in quiet cafes, scribbling odds on napkins while students half his age rage-folded aces. Locals simply called him the Wizard. Yet until spring 2024, his tournament resume could fit on a postcard. 2 small cashes, neither above $50,000. No televised hands, no interviews, only whispers of an old man who never tilted and never bragged. What the high rollers didn't know was that this kindly Gandalf viewed probability like an engineering schematic. And tonight he was ready to redraw poker's blueprints. Over the next 7 days, the Wizard of Tallinn would stare down the greatest minds in the game and walk away with almost $8 million and a legend no solver could explain. The Triton Super High Roller Series is poker's version of Everest. Thin air, brutal stakes, and no room for excuses. On day 1 of the 200,000 euro Invitational, Vladimir settles into his seat like a man boarding a train he's ridden 1,000 times. He peels king and queen, limp calls, then folds with a shrug when the flop refuses to cooperate. The pros trade glances. Who limps king-queen in a 200 grand buy-in? 6 hours later, a cooler strikes, pocket kings versus aces, and the Wizard's stack vanishes. Cameras expect heartbreak. Instead, Vladimir stands, straightens his jacket, and wordlessly hands the cashier another 200,000 euros. The room goes quiet. Re-entering is common, but amateurs usually pace the hallway, call a backer, second-guess themselves. Vladimir simply reloads, returns, and starts again. What follows feels like sleight of hand. He limp calls ace and 10 suited, rivers a flush, and triples up. He tanks for all of 8 seconds before shoving queen and jack offsuit through Patrik Antonius, then apologizes with a grandfatherly pat on the Finn's shoulder. A few orbits later, he folds pocket queens pre-flop after a subtle head tilt from Bryn Kenney convinces him something darker lurks beneath. Commentators stutter. Did he really just lay that down? By midnight, Vladimir is second in chips. Viewers on the livestream spam wizard emojis. Twitter invents the hashtag Gambledore. Antonius shakes his head, half annoyed, half impressed. The old guy's impossible to read, he tells the dealer, because he's not sweating the money. Day 2 begins with 36 players and ends with 9, Vladimir among them. Sitting behind a wall of chips he stacks in perfect, engineer-approved columns. At the final table, the lights dim, graphics flash, and the Wizard looks as unfazed as if he were balancing a checkbook. His first clash comes against Fedor Holz. The German prodigy 3-bets light. Vladimir flats with ace and 9 of hearts. Check calls 2 barrels on king-high texture, then leads river when a 3rd heart completes. Holz folds, slides a knowing smile and mutters, "Well played, sir." Next, Sam Greenwood picks up pocket 10s and fires every street on a ragged board. Vladimir calls, then turns over pocket jacks as casually as offering tea. Greenwood exhales through his teeth, the kind of exhale that says, "He set the trap and I marched right in." Heads up is Vladimir versus Patrik Antonius, a matchup that feels like chess grandmaster versus Zen monk. On hand 197, the dealer fans queen of diamonds, 9 of spades, 7 of hearts. Antonius checks. Vladimir bets pot with 6 and 8 of clubs, an inside straight draw and not much else. Antonius counts chips, re-raises large. Cameras zoom, viewers hold breath. Vladimir's fingers drum softly, as if tapping Morse code only he can decode. Then call, turn, 10 of hearts, bingo. But instead of exploding for value, the Wizard checks back, cloak perfectly in place. River bricks. Antonius barrels again. Only now does Vladimir raise, just enough to look bluff-heavy. Antonius squints, then sighs, folds. The table erupts. Vladimir merely stacks chips with monk-like calm, still down by a small margin but closing fast. Destiny adds an ironic punchline. 2 hands later, Vladimir's pocket queens lose a flip to Antonius's ace and king. Runner-up pays 3.5 million euros, a staggering score for any player, never mind a debutante nearing 70. Reporters rush in, Vladimir slips out, politely declining interviews because, he says, "I have another tournament tomorrow." The very next afternoon, he buys into the 150,000 euro no-limit hold'em event. His reputation has caught up. Pros whisper at break, debating whether he's studying solver printouts at night or simply blessed by variance. Some think the first run was lightning in a bottle. Others recall the calm river raises, the uncanny folds, and aren't so sure. Vladimir's response is a smile and a shrug. At the outer table, he slow plays top set against Stephen Chidwick, extracting maximum pain. At another, he snap calls Bryn Kenney's 5-bet shove with pocket queens. Yes, the same hand that betrayed him 24 hours earlier, and this time, the ladies hold. Chidwick mutters "wizard" under his breath. Kenney storms off, headset dangling. By nightfall, Vladimir again headlines the final 9, surrounded by Greenwood, Holz, Chidwick, and Kenney, nursing a short stack for revenge. The broadcast overlay flashes his chip graph. A steady climb, no sharp peaks or valleys. Commentator Ali Najad marvels, "It's like he's drawing a straight line to the top." But not everyone is convinced. Social media splits into camps: genius versus grandpa run good. A prominent coach tweets a chart showing how often tight amateurs hit hot streaks, captioning "regression incoming." Meanwhile, a Tallinn newspaper digs up Vladimir's engineering patents, estimating lifetime royalties north of 5 million euros. Enough, skeptics claim, to buy his way past variance. Money, however, can't purchase poise under the glare of 8-figure prize pools. With cameras inches from his beard, Vladimir remains unblinking. He peels pocket sixes, flats pre-flop, and spikes a set on a 9-high flop. Greenwood double barrels. Vladimir check calls, then leads river for value so thin it could slice paper. Greenwood pays, shakes his head, and tumbles down the counts. The rail buzzes. Gambledore is trending in 6 languages. When the bubble bursts, Vladimir is chip leader. A sideline reporter finally corners him for one question: "How are you feeling?" He answers in softly accented English: "I feel the same as yesterday. Curious." Then he steps back under the lights, ready for the moment that will decide whether he's a one-week wonder or something immortal. 9 hours in, the 150,000 euro final is down to 3. Bryn Kenney, once the game's all-time money leader, Sam Greenwood, Canada's chip count surgeon, and the Wizard of Tallinn, still breathing through his nose, still stacking chips in perfect towers. Kenney shoves on the button with ace and 3 of clubs. Greenwood reshoves pocket 10s. Vladimir in the big blind studies his cards, ace and queen of hearts, then calls, covering them both. The dealer runs it out. A queen on the turn knocks Kenney to the rail and wounds Greenwood. The wizard barely reacts. He just thanks the dealer, as if courtesy were a skill edge. Heads up begins with Vladimir holding a 2-1 lead. Greenwood is no stranger to comebacks, but tonight the old man's timing feels scripted by fate. On hand 34, Greenwood raises small. Vladimir flats with 6 and 9 of spades. "My age," he will later joke. Flop. 6 of hearts, 9 of clubs, deuce of spades. Top 2 pair. Greenwood continuation bets. Vladimir check calls. Turn. Queen of diamonds, no help. Greenwood barrels again, sizing bigger, another calm call. River. 4 of hearts. Greenwood empties the clip, shoving what remains. The ballroom hushes. Vladimir's fingertips trace the felt once, twice. Then lift a single chip, the universal sign for call. Cards turn over. Greenwood reveals ace and queen. Top pair, top kicker, but not enough. A beat of silence. Then the room erupts. A tournament director announces the number: 4.35 million euros. Added to his runner-up finish, Vladimir's 7-day haul tops 7.8 million, the largest week ever recorded by an amateur. Reporters swarm. He accepts the trophy only after a gentle reminder it won't fit in his suitcase. Asked for a final thought, he smiles. Probability is just another puzzle. Tonight, the pieces fit. And that's how old man Vladimir Alexandrovich Korzinin outplayed the pros and won millions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible poker underdog stories.